Yo, 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 what is going on, IK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder. We are back again today to give you that dope sauce, dopity, fuego puesto. I'm going to be honest, best thing that really came to my mind. We're going to be doing a full review and giving you our thoughts and opinions on the full patch notes that have now been released for the 1.7 update. Right, these were released hours ago, at least as of recording the video. So we're going to run through it. We're going to cover each item. I'm going to try and summarize some of the things because just by doing a quick scan over, even though this is really going to be my first full read, right, we're going to try and at least condense parts that we're able to because there is a lot. And let me just quick preface with that this update is really, from what you're going to see on the majority of the content here, is really focused on KvK. Right, there are a few other nice additions that they did add in, but for the most part, it really is going to be a kind of big KvK-oriented update. Okay, so let's start off. New features, Legion of Frostborn. Right, LOF, this is the KvK map. Battlefield environment, right, let's go over some eligibility. Server must have been open for 60 days or more and have completed Chronicle Event 21 Royal Ambition. Lords on servers that meet the above requirements, have joined an alliance, and reached Castle 15 or higher can travel to the Frozen Realm to end the Gnome's threats and other players' threats. Your faces, get ready. Matching system. Interesting. This is actually good. This is something new. This is something, hopefully they're going to give us some information here. I'm excited. Seasons 1 through 3. We will describe the season system shortly. This is very similar to those of us who played Rock and other Kingdom Builders as well. I love they're giving us some more information. 8 servers will be grouped into one large region to take part in the LOF together. Season 1 will match servers of adjacent server numbers into the same legion. Seasons 2 and 3 will group servers from a larger range into legions. Interesting. Okay, so we were initially thinking that they were going to do this based on an MMR rating, right, in the beginning, right? That's what we were being told. And again, keep in mind, this was preliminary information. Things are subject to change. Even though we were being told that, it looks like that's probably what's going to now end up going into Season 2 through 3. Again, this definitely falls in line with kind of a similar system that we've seen in Rock. I still love it. Again, I'd like to know what the adjacent server numbers are. Is it going to be like what we saw for TOTS, right, where they pair you based on the first 8 servers? We'll try and get a clarification there and then post an updated video on information that we're unable to get and then ask on. Conquest Season. The Conquest Season is the ultimate challenge of LOF. In this season, servers will be grouped based on a comprehensive analysis of each server's Lord power, previous battle results, and Lord's activity level. Interesting. This is to match opponents based on their strength as to ensure fairness in the groupings. After the first Conquest season begins, Conquest seasons will start to cycle indefinitely. Each Conquest season will start immediately after the end of the previous Conquest season. Trial season. The trial season lasts for a shorter time than a regular season and has a different matching system and rewards. Interesting. So I'm wondering, based on, I mean, they're letting us know how they're going to do it, right? So it's going to go off of Lord power, right? Here we go. So servers Lord power, previous battle results, and Lord's activity level. So I'm wondering if what they mean by previous battle results is based on, like, the KvK record. Like, maybe they're going to keep a KvK record for your server. That would be dope. And then they let you know, right? So, like, they'll basically, for the servers that go 1-0 and 0-1, right, they'll try and match those together for, like, Season 2. And then for Season 3, right, they'll match the people that are 1-1, 0-2, and 2-0. That would be cool if that's what we're talking about. I like how they're going to match you based on Lord power. Again, it would be nice to see if that's going to be off of the top 300 Lord power, which is something we've suggested before, right, where you take the top 100 Lord power from each blue, green, and red factions, and then you just add all those numbers together, and then that's your projected, like, total power, right, like your projected server's power, which is a similar system, like we said as well, that we've seen in Rock. So nice to see that they're at least giving us some more details. I'd love to know exactly how they're going to do it. And then for the previous battle results, are they going to do it like that as well? Lord's activity level. This is interesting because this is something that we've talked about in the previous feedback and suggestions video that we've done for round 4, where we would love to see eventually added into some king options and tools where you can look at the total number of hyper players, the total number of active players, the total number of silent and then present status players. That would be awesome to see if they gave you a quick overview where they gave you like at reset daily and they just told you, right, they just gave you like a little stat overview page that maybe only the king could see, or queen in this case, got to give shout out and love to the ladies, and it would just show you these stats, right? So it's interesting they use the language here. I'll have to ask about this as well. This is to match opponents, right? And then again, the trial season that we have. So what we need to figure out is, what is the first season going to be, right? Is the first season going to be the trial season? Because again, they say it lasts shorter. So my assumption is the first season is the trial season, and then seasons 2 and later will be Conquest. Maybe they also do it where if they introduce a new type of season, the first season of, like in this case, let's say seasons 1 through 3, the first season is the trial season, season 2 and 3 for that variation, or for that KvK's variation, is the Conquest seasons. And then when season 4 comes out, if it's a new map, a new style, then they'll do it as a trial season, and then KvK 5 and 6 would be Conquest, right? I'll see if I can get some clarification there, but it'd be interesting if it works out in some type of way like that. Expedition information. Here we go. Starting the expedition, lords taking part in the LOF enter the battlefield. Their territories on their original continents will disappear. Okay, that's interesting, and will be I mean, that makes sense. And will be relocated to the Legion. All lords from the same server will be relocated to the same zone. We did show the zone map as well before, how that looks. Returning home, lords can return to their original content using a random teleport. Return to the battlefield. After returning to your original continent, you must wait 10 minutes before you could re-enter the battlefield. Okay. Shrouded in darkness, right? This is the vision. An ancient evil power has shrouded the battlefield. The darkness hides all movements. You cannot see other lords' territories, troops, or relocation sites. Members of the same alliance can see each other. Alliances with friendly relations can see each other. Interesting. So this is really big, because we were under the impression, some of us, at least including myself, were that you could see other players on the map, but you just couldn't attack them. You had to actually go and relocate or use a territorial teleport to get over to them, because you could only attack them if you were in the vision's distance, right? If you had your vision proximity from your city, or if you were in a neutral area, right? And then it would allow for you to click and attack on them, right? So you could attempt to click on them, but maybe it wouldn't do anything. So now we're being told that it hides everyone. So that means that the only way you're going to see other people is if you're going and fighting at neutral cities, if you're at neutral thermal areas, or if you are uncovering them from other thermal towers. But the interesting thing here that I'll ask on, and maybe I should be taking some notes down, wow, when I think about this. You know what, we'll do it later when I reread through everything again. But a thought that's coming to my mind is, what does that mean? That you can relocate somewhere on the map, but you will not know where you land, right? Like, so for example, you cannot see other people's thermal towers or the vision they have, meaning that if you relocate somewhere, you have to wait until your city fully relocates, builds, constructs, and then once your city has, then you'll know if you end up in someone's thermal territory. That is actually interesting. Not only could that be used as potential scouting, right, to figure out where people's thermal tower lines are, but it could also put you in danger, right, if you land in someone's thermal territory and you immediately get ported out, right? So I'll have to get a clarification there, but the brainstorming in me is going buck wild right now, and it's exciting. Okay. Next, the locations of resource gathering points, Gnome Cities, and checkpoints can be seen vaguely, but you cannot view detailed information about them. Okay, so this kind of is what I thought it was going to be for point number 1, but it just turns out to be for the neutral areas. To obtain complete information about these targets, you must first obtain vision proximity of the zones they are in. Okay, so that, I would imagine that means you have to relocate or build a thermal tower. Obtaining vision proximity. Your territory, you start with a certain range, so you can view targets close to your territory, cities and checkpoints. After your alliance occupies a city or checkpoint, you will gain the vision proximity of the city or checkpoint. Thermal towers You build them, and then that provides a large range of vision proximity to all Alliance members. Shared vision proximity. You and your Alliance members share vision. So basically, you're playing Where's Waldo on the KvK map, but all of you are able to go around and basically become like little radar blips. Blizzard damage. The frozen realm is bitterly cold. Territory. If your territory is in a blizzard zone, you will gradually lose prosperity, and this prosperity will not recover automatically. Right, this is 1% every 5 minutes you lose. Gathering. Due to the cold weather, troops' gathering speed is reduced by 25% when gathering at resource deposits in the blizzard zones. Gnomes who live in the blizzard, they're basically stronger if you attack them in the blizzard area. Geothermal zones. Cities and checkpoints. There are neutral geothermal energy sources near Gnome Cities and checkpoints. They prevent the surrounding area from taking blizzard damage. While in these zones, your territory will also be safe from blizzards. That's nice. Thermal towers, same thing. You create a geothermal zone. It protects your resource deposit. If resource deposit is within a geothermal zone, troop gathering speed will return to normal. Gnomes are easier to defeat. Note, geothermal zones are shared by all lords, regardless of who occupies the relevant city, checkpoint, or thermal tower. Okay. Shared, let me see, geothermal zones are shared by all lords. Interesting. Regardless of who... oh, I see. So maybe that trumps the previous point that we just mentioned or that we were reading through, where once the thermal tower is set up, regardless of who occupies the relevant city, checkpoint, or thermal tower. So maybe this means that once a thermal tower is built, everyone in the server can see it. Again, we'll have to wait to get a confirmation if that's the case, but based on how it's reading, that could be, and that might change some things up. Building thermal towers. Alliance resource reserves. Okay, maybe we'll get some more information here. Producing consumes resources. When you gather, some of the gathered resources are converted to a certain ratio. Again, you don't lose anything. It's just a bonus amount of the resources you gather are used as these resources for building thermal towers. Start production. R6 or R5 has the authority to do so. Producing a thermal tower consumes time and Alliance resources. One thermal tower can be produced at the same time, and the production process cannot be canceled once started. Quick production, right? We talked about that. That's something it might be like an Alliance tag or some kind of special that your Alliance can use to speed up, or reduce/speed up production time. Storage. Produced thermal towers are stored in the warehouse. The warehouse holds a limited number. Building thermal towers. First tower. The Alliance R6 can start building. If your Alliance does not have any thermal towers on the battlefield yet, the first thermal tower can be placed in any area inside your vision proximity and outside the geothermal range of other Alliance's thermal towers. Additional towers, right? Already constructed new thermal tower must be placed within the visible. This is important. If your Alliance has already constructed a thermal tower, new thermal towers must be placed within the vision proximity of your current thermal towers and cannot overlap with the geothermal zones created by other Alliance's thermal towers. This means, based on how I'm reading this, that you can place the first tower wherever you want, but then you have to chain build in some kind of a Jake the Snake portion based on where the first tower is placed. So it's very important. Building thermal towers. After a tower is placed, Alliance members can dispatch troops. The more troops you put in, the faster the construction speed. Building effects. Vision proximity and geothermal zones. A completed thermal tower will provide your Alliance with vision proximity and geothermal zone within a certain range from itself, right? So basically, after you build it, it's going to provide you vision and that nice, warm, cuddly area, which we did show in the previous sneak peek video that IK released, where basically everything's frozen, but once you build the geothermal zone, it returns to kind of like a nice, lush green land. Overlapping geothermal zones. Basically, the first person to build a thermal tower has the priority of that area being applied to them for their Alliance, along with the bonuses that it gives. Right, you can see here that vision proximity is not subject to any overlap restrictions, so you'll still get vision, but your area, if it crosses with another, will take priority over another person's thermal tower if you build yours first. Demolishing enemy thermal towers. Destroying an enemy's thermal tower. First, you must defeat all the troops. Then you must actually put troops in there, garrisoning their thermal tower, in order for it to consistently start degrading for durability until it's eventually destroyed. Abandoning thermal towers, right? It says you can only do one thermal tower at a time for abandonment. Okay, now we get to checkpoints. The gnomes have survived in the... oh, gosh. Okay, so for checkpoints, kind of like cities. You have to defeat the wall durability, and then after defeating the wall durability, you have to defeat the garrisons that are in the checkpoints in order to occupy them. We still don't know how strong they're going to be. Of course, we'll figure that out, I'm sure, as time goes on and we get in. Gnome Cities. Plentiful specialties. Occupy cities in the battlefield to gain special resource rewards. The higher city levels, the higher the level of the special resources. That makes sense. We did notice that they might be randomly assigning specialties. We saw that there was a timer in the quick vid, in the video, and again, I'm not sure if they're going to talk about it here, but it looked like the specialty bonus that the cities you can occupy will randomly change on a timer, right? Whether it's 4 hours, 8 hours, however long it is, you'll get a specialty bonus that's on rotation. So maybe there's a few there. We'll see if they talk about that. So it says, again, the higher the city level, the higher level the special resources. Some gnome cities in the central zone will produce multiple types of special resources simultaneously. Specialties production. All gnome cities will randomly produce one or more types of special resources depending on the city type at set times. Okay, so they do touch on it. The higher the city levels, the higher the chance of producing valuable resources. Resources produced by the cities will be sent to all members of the occupying alliance after the required waiting time. Interesting. So, again, I don't know if we're going to be able to upgrade cities. If they do talk about that. But if you can, then it's obviously important to try and upgrade them as fast as you're able to. Otherwise, right, just trying to occupy as many cities as you can, and the higher level ones might be, first ones to go for, just depending. After a gnome city is occupied by an alliance for the first time, its garrisons will no longer automatically recover. Train garrisons, interesting. To ensure the security of the cities, alliance members must donate various resources to train garrisons in the city. Wow. The higher the city's level, the more resources are needed to train a garrison. I actually think this mechanic is pretty cool. Trained garrisons are automatically deployed to the city's various districts. Stop training. Training will stop if there are insufficient donated resources, or if the maximum number of garrisons has been reached. Wow. So this is important. It's almost like the moment you capture the city, you need to be rebuilding those garrisons as fast as possible. Right, and again, it may just depend on how strong the garrisons are, right? I would imagine you might still be able to reinforce the garrisons. It doesn't say anything here about that you can't, so there might be some tactics on, whether or not you care to defend lower level cities versus higher level cities, if you're able to upgrade cities, right? Some of those things are still unknowns. Victory conditions. Here's the big ones, right, as we start getting into the meat of it all. To preserve humanity's strength, the Council of Sages has ruled that each expedition cannot exceed 45 days. So, as we talked about from what we saw in the sneak peek video, 45 days is the max duration. The trial season is shorter, which is what we're going to get when the first KvK is released after 1.7. Once the time limit is reached, all lords must retreat from the frozen realm immediately during these 45 days. If an alliance manages to occupy the gnome's capital for more than 24 hours, oh, that's cool. They put a duration on it. I like that. Then humanity will achieve victory. All lords can then end the expedition early. Interesting. I really like that because in a game like Rock, right, for those of you who've played, or some other kingdom builders as well, right, once you capture the final building or the center capital in KvK SVS, right, that's it. As far as there's no additional win conditions, right? All you have to do is basically just be able to capture it, right, and then you're for the most part good to go. So I like that they're adding something in here before it gets to that point. Again, that is nice to see. Now, given that, it's going to have to be a 24-hour endeavor, which means, and there's other things that come with that, depending on how your server is set up, but wow, that is big. Early end. If the server occupies the gnome capital for more than 24 hours during the expedition period, the server will be judged to have won. That server will be judged to have won. Oh, wow, okay. Expedition will then end early. Complete victory. The server occupying the gnome's capital at 0 UTC on the 45th day of the expedition obtains a complete victory. Okay, interesting. So it's really an early victory. If you just want a standard victory, you just have to occupy the capital going into that 0 UTC day at reset on the 45th day. Otherwise, if you capture and hold it for 24 hours early, then you get the early win. Courageous victory. Interesting. When the expedition ends, servers occupying any citadel in Midgar will obtain a courageous victory. Oh, okay, interesting. Let's look at some... Oh, here we go. Rewards. This is what everyone wants to know about. Just joking. Here we go. Alliance rewards. Faction power progression rewards. When your alliance reaches the required amount of faction power from occupying cities, you will earn the corresponding cold silver rewards. A stackable percentage bonus will be added to the above rewards for every gnome's capital or citadel occupied by each server. Interesting. Okay. Faction power ranking rewards. Alliances will be ranked based on their faction power from occupying cities, and alliance members will receive a reward based on the ranking. Okay, wow. So that's pretty cool. A gnome's capital and city occupation rewards. At the end of LOF, the alliance occupying the gnome's capital or citadels will receive additional rewards allocated by the alliance leader, up to 1 reward per player, and cold silver rewards. Wow. So they're kind of adding in a little bit of COR here, right? Where you, as the lead, have to distribute rewards based on contributing and participating members. City production. All members of the alliance occupying a gnome city will receive special resource rewards. Okay, interesting. Let's see. Personal rewards. You can earn Legion's marks by building thermal towers, demolishing enemy thermal towers, attacking cities or checkpoints, donating resources to allied cities, or defeating other lords' territories. Okay. When LOF ends, lords will be ranked based on their total Legion's mark and receive rewards based on their ranking. Wow, okay. So they're giving you PvP rewards, incentivized rewards, in addition to all the other PvE stuff that you can do within the environment, like the building, demolishing, doing cities, constructing, and build. Again, I love it. Achievement rewards. LOF includes an achievement system. Alliances and individual lords can complete achievements to earn rewards. I like that. Chronicle rewards, we showed that briefly. Really cool. They're just giving you a bunch of rewards, man, for LOF. This is great. Now, of course, we don't know what the rewards are actually going to be until we get into LOF and we see them, but I'm at least getting excited. Now we get to Legion Shop. Ooh, cool. If mankind... Okay, so all lords who participate in the expedition can use cold silvers or gems to purchase these rewards. Lords who obtain a complete victory can purchase Divine's Prophecy from the Legion Shop. Lords who obtain Courageous Victory can purchase Divine's Will from the Legion Shop. Lords who did not obtain any victory can purchase Divine's Protection from Legion Shop. Shop items may include Immortal Fragments, Philo Stone, Speed-Ups, Resource Items, Chat Message Box, Avatar Frames, Lord's Nameplates, and other valuable goods. Actual available items may differ. The trial season has different rewards. Interesting. So, this is kind of big, right? If you think about how COR is set up, for, again, as most of us know by now, right, arguably the most important item that you're going to get in Contention of Relics is for the winning faction, and that's going to be for Empress Wu. You can get the Empress Wu shards, and that also allows for free-to-play to get her as well. And essentially just everyone, right? It doesn't matter. Like, that's the only way you can pretty much get Wu at the moment. What that means, based on the wording here, is they could do something similar like that for Legion of Frostborn, which means that potentially only one server is going to be able to get, right, and keep in mind, it says lords who obtain a complete victory. This also could mean it may only apply to one alliance. Maybe it doesn't apply to the entire server, right? I hope it's the whole server. Again, we'll have to ask for clarification, but it also means that specific immortals may only be available to that alliance's players or that server's players, depending on what victory condition they meet in LOF. That is huge, because we still don't know who's going to be available in that, in those shops, in the Legion shops. So that's pretty big. Season system. The new system was created to satisfy the development needs. Okay, so maybe they're going to dive into some more details here for how the system's going to work. Divide into the various seasons based on certain rules. As each server progresses through the seasons, the maximum level of buildings, immortals, troops, dragons, and more will increase. Interesting. Okay. So we'll have to see how this works. Maybe what that means is this was an idea we threw out when we first heard about this being mentioned. It may mean that they're going to do it in a pacing style, where maybe after 1.7 comes out, they're not just going to immediately bump up and be like, hey, everyone has Castle 50, you can upgrade Dragons to 50, Immortals to 50, all the other good jazz. So it says that will increase and new technology and talent branches will be unlocked. We will make a separate announcement when the new season system officially starts. Stay tuned for latest updates. This in my opinion, if this is going to play out how I think it is the best way that they could have done it. Just doing a sum release of everything, in my opinion, is not going to be the best way to do it. I still feel that it's still way too early to do level increases, given how old or how young, in this case, the game is. If you look at other games, an example of Rock, right, 3+ years the game went in before they even considered, 3.5 years, depending on how you want to view beta to global, right, before they even considered upgrading VIP. Right, let alone before they consider doing anything for level upgrades. But let's read. Preparation season. The servers that have not completed the last chapter of the Chronicle are in the preparation season. Season 1. Servers which have completed the last chapter of Chronicle but have not completed the first round of LOF are in Season 1. Season 2. Servers which have completed the first round but not the second round of LOF are in Season 2. Okay, and Season 3, that means they're in the second round, and then Conquest Season. Servers which have completed the third round of LOF are in the Conquest Season. Okay, Server Preview. The Server Preview feature has been moved to the Season system. Okay, so maybe that means that, basically what they're saying here, I think, is that you're going to be able to look at a preview of who you're going to get matched up against. How to access. Tap the Season button in the top right corner of the main screen to access the Season Preview interface. Okay, so Based on what I'm hearing here from what we're seeing, I can surmise, I think a good hypothesis or an educated guess would be that they're going to up the levels of Buildings, Immortals, Troops, Dragons, and Moors in periodic releases. Right? They're going to pace it out. So based on where your server is, that's when you get access. Kind of like how you get access to the Forge, or better yet, the artifacts, right? You have to complete Chronicle 21 before you get access to artifacts. It's probably going to be something like that, but just an extended timeline. Maybe it'll be something you'll see in the Chronicles. Maybe you'll click on Chronicles and there'll be a second tab somewhere that applies for kind of the KvK system and future unlocks, or maybe they'll just add it on after Chronicle 21. But this gives me so much hope, because it doesn't sound like they're just going to release everything in one go. I like this, that they're spreading it out. I think that's a better way to do it, and I actually applaud the creativeness and the ingenuity to do it like this, because I think it's going to appeal to the free-to-play base a lot more, even though, as I said, I still think it's too early, but if you're going to do it in any kind of a way, I think this is the best way to do it. Okay, now Throne of the Supreme social feature. We did talk about this a little bit with them doing what they refer to as their comment barrage. All players in the same tournament grouping can leave comments up to 3 times per day. Comments will scroll across the event's main screen. All comments will be cleared. Okay, hopefully this doesn't get out of hand, but maybe some general banter will be going on. During the regional point race, you can add custom battle declaration that can be changed once per day. Okay, cool. Sharing battle reports. The battle report sharing feature has been added to the regular season, allowing you to share your own battle reports to the server chat channel. Oh, that's cool. So you can kind of show everyone in your server your victories, right, and flaunt your stuff. I love it. Gotta flaunt your stuff. New survival chapter, guide chapter. The third chapter of the Norheim survival guide, the titled Ultimate Champion, is now available. This chapter covers territory expansion, becoming a champion of Norheim. It contains strategies for capturing cities, as well as guides to all large-scale events and game modes, including Mysterium, IB, TOTS, COR, Battle of Asteria, Melina's Ambition, and IA, or Infernal Assault. This is great. I love that they're adding more content to the survival guide, something that I have not seen in a lot of other kingdom builders, and I love that they're expanding onto it, and they're thinking about how can they give more consistent foundational information and knowledge to players where they don't always have to go and look for the information either on the Discord, on YouTube, or other. Optimizations. Okay, here we go. This is where we start really getting into the meat and butter, or I should say the dessert or topping side. Gnome bosses. Tap a gnome boss on the world map. Now you can view its skills. We showed this before. They're actually going to tell you what the gnome bosses are, along with the Well of Time bosses, what the skills are for each boss, and then giving you the percentage and description breakdown. I love that, because I think it's going to help players better assess how they are going to deal with bosses, and then also will allow for them to work on potential comp changes to address specific bosses. Throne of the Supreme. New access button added to TOTS button to the top right of the main screen, allowing you to quickly access the tournament. Okay, I like that. Battle rules. Changed. If the attacking team does not beat all the units in the defending side when the battle time is exceeded, the defending side wins. 2. If time runs out before victory is decided, The battle will enter overtime and will continue until one side wins. I actually like this because I think it gives options for potential comebacks based on RNG, right? So I actually think that's pretty cool. Missions, divided missions in the... where am I looking here? Divided missions in the missions panel into daily missions and round missions. Okay. Added a setting for lowest multiplier. Okay. Battle report storage. Change storage limit to 20. I don't know what the previous limit was, so I'm not sure. But okay. Interface optimizations. Optimize the layout of information on the interregional group match interface. Okay. I'm hoping it's just going to be easier to see and view, which is all the good stuff. Events. Melina's Ambition. Added participation rewards for players who participated in Melina's Ambitions but did not deal any damage to Gnome troops. Okay, I like that. It just gives more people rewards. Can't be mad at that. And Frontal Assault. Added event missions. Complete event missions to claim the corresponding rewards. Okay. If that means they're adding more rewards, big win. I'll take it. King of the Hill. A Rosh fragment will be available in the King of the Hill event. Okay, this is a big update. We've also been assuming that a Rosh was going to be coming after Dito because right now the rotation is Cyrus, Dito, and now we know it's going to be a Rosh for the third rotation, right? And if they do 2 or 3, however many rounds, and then it'll cycle, I just like they're adding more people to King of the Hill. Other optimizations, building management. You can now use chests in your backpack from the resource item shortcut panel. You can use chests in your backpack. Oh, I see. Got it. So I think what this means is that you can use the chest, from the backpack where you do not need to actually unlock the backpack or use the chest item, resource item, right, and then be able to apply it to a building upgrade. It looks like they'll just be able to allow for you to use it right from that, which, again, I still think is a win because it's just more quality of life. Artifact materials, how to obtain. Added information about current methods to obtain artifact materials, allowing you to quickly jump to other methods or open chests. About current methods to... Oh, I like this. Okay, so they're just giving you a lot easier way to understand. Okay, that's a win for me. Artifact material conversion. Change default conversion quantity to 10. Added shortcut feature for using resource items. Again, I think making artifacts easier to understand, even if they're just adding in kind of more quick views and quick actions, is going to make it a lot easier for people to understand the system. Rallying. Added more information to the rally details panel, including rally bonus and estimated arrival time. I think that's a win. Active events. Difficulty. Adjust the difficulty of Prosperous Life. Event missions. Okay. Maybe that means you're now going to have to gather more. Adjusted the rewards for the Prosperous Life, Armed Troops, and Expel Gnomes events. Maybe that means they're giving us better rewards. I'll take that as a win. If so, chat. Added a cute baby dragon emoji pack. Daily deals. Added a feature that allows you to buy all 3 packs from daily deals with a single tap. Big win. Auto fight. Fixed an issue in auto fight where immortals could not use skills when rooted. Okay, I like that. So we're getting some hotfix updates. How about that arena one? Wink, wink. Balance adjustments. Okay, now I want to say I always praise IK for their balance adjustments because it's not like, and I'm just going to give a reference for like League of Legends, right? And for anyone out there, right? My view on that is just, I just always feel like it's a lot, right? It doesn't mean it's good or bad, but my view is like if you have to make 1 million balance change adjustments, right? And at times they can be big adjustments. I just think it's better to do a few small adjustments and then wait to see how things play out. Right, and I have always loved that about Infinity Kingdom, where they don't come out and they give you 1 million balance adjustments or they make really big changes, right? It's small adjustments, small changes, and then they wait to see how it plays out. I love that. So here we go. Cyrus the Great changed from 64 to 83 for energy recovery. Dito 64 to 83. Wow. Arash 64 to 66. I like that it's a small change for Arash because he's an unknown. Cyrus, this is interesting. Dito, I think more interesting as well because this probably makes Dito a little bit more relevant in skill usage when it comes to pairing with Merlin if you're looking to get the proc effect. For Cyrus, again, I think when it comes to his resilience down, this is going to be probably a big win for Cyrus players, I would imagine. So we'll see if he probably starts getting a little more use from this. That would be my hypothesis. Immortal skills. Manko Kapak before, so there's a skill change here. Before, and this is how the current skill is set up, gain control immunity and channel a dazzling light for 15 seconds. The light increases dodge rate to allies and removes all negative effects to a random ally once every 3 seconds. After the spell channeling is complete, cause physical damage to all enemies until the battle ends. Energy will no longer be gained after the spell is cast, right? And you can imagine this is like a pretty OP skill, which basically means that you're getting hard control immunity for arguably the first skill usage of your opponent's skills, on top of continuous DOT or damage over time that's caused after that 15 seconds for the duration of the fight. Now this is what it's being changed to. Channeling a dazzling light for 15 seconds. While channeling the skill, granting control immunity to all friendly holy immortals. Okay, wow. So they're changing it to where it can only be used now for holy immortals. And increasing dodge rate to all allies. Okay, so control immunity. Interesting. So it's control immunity. It doesn't say anything about removing any negative. So they basically took out the removing negative effects, right? Which means that if what that means is that if the negative effect is already casted on your immortal, based on how we're reading, that is going to stay there, right? But the control immunity will be for future effects. Again, that's how we're reading it based on the change. After the spell channeling is complete, cause physical damage to all enemies once every 3 seconds until the battle ends. The caster will no longer recover. Okay, so instead of damage every second, it's now every 3 seconds, right? So again, I actually think this is a great change. It doesn't make it seem like KvK is OP, but now kind of scaling him back a little bit where the skill is still good, but it's not like S level or like Z level tier, right? Where it kind of is viewed as unbroken. So I like that they're kind of bringing it back into line, even though it's still good. They're toning it back a bit. That's pretty much rounds out our full patch notes review for 1.7. This is a big one. I'll probably do like a highlight video after, because we did talk a lot after covering everything being over 36 minutes now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I think this is a big win. I think there's a lot of great things that are being added in this update, and I'm excited to see eventually when 1.7 comes out and us being able to start getting to KvK, because if anything, these patch notes are getting me more excited for what we are going to have upcoming once the update does drop. That's it for me. Until next time, we will catch y'all later.